different. I left my country, ran like a rat from the sinking ship. I'll tell you a story, a few stories. Maybe you'll understand. I was 23. I lived in St. Petersburg, and I just had a baby. My husband was a junkie. My father was dying. My mother was taking care of him. I was the breadwinner. I got a job at a 5-star hotel run by Swedes. Personal assistant to general manager, interpreting for plumbers, translating menus, but money talked. My boss looked like a mole. No eyebrows, no eyelashes, no eyes practically. His name was Sven Vermelin. We called him Vermin. I still remember that morning. Dark, cold. I rushed to work late as hell. 5 minutes to 8. Marble stairs, mezzanine cafe, then my office. I go in and see a man in my chair. Big, bald, the head like a billiard ball. And another man by the wall. Scrawny, gaunt, looks like a rat. Adidas tracksuit, black tattoo, smells like sweat, steely eyes. Where is your boss? Says the big man. There's a gun on his hip. Great, I think. The KGB, or bandits, or both. So I tell him, how can I help you? But they only want my boss, so I call Vermin. He lives across the street, his wife and kids are at home, and he's having breakfast. He doesn't want to come. Come over, I say. Now, it's important. You're smart, says the big man. So we're waiting, and the little man bounces off the walls and sniffs around. What is this and what is that? The KGB, definitely. The KGB, I think. How much do they pay you? He asks. $180 a month? No way, he says. My wife makes $10 a month. She teaches Shakespeare in school. I like Shakespeare, I say. No shit, he says. Me too. Fuck foreigners, says the big man. Fuck Shakespeare. And then Vermin walks in. His face is sour. My dear Sven, says the little man. And then they tell him that he needs protection, the rules, they call it, and he needs to pay just $10,000 a month. Vermin says, no. The big man laughs. His golden teeth gleam. Get out, says Vermin. What a piece of work is a man, says the little man. We'll be back, says the big man. They almost leave, but in the doorway, the little man looks over his shoulder, winks at me and says, to be or not to be? That is the question. Jokers, says Vermin. This is no joke, Mr. Vermelin, I say. This is no Sweden. Call the cops, he says. Report extortion. No, call the KGB. Let's step out, I say. You can talk inside. There are bugs everywhere. Those men were cops, I say outside and whisper. Or the KGB? They're bandits, says Vermin, crossing the street. Bandits are cops, I say, following him, in this country. Are you refusing to call, he says, entering the building. I'm refusing to die, I think, climbing the stairs after him. We're by his door, and then we both see it. We see a dead rat. It is tied to the doorknob. It swings by the tail. Shadows are swaying. Call, he says. Call, now. Call, someone. So the rat is swinging. The blood is dripping. Its mouth is open and it looks like it's howling. There is no one to call, I say. Fuck Russians, he says. Fuck you. Call or quit. So I quit. I leave my city. The bandits are after me, the KGB is after me, and Vermin is after me, although he is not after me for long. His wife and kids get kidnapped. His Volvo is set on fire. Was on the news. Next thing you know, he's gone back to Stockholm. Fucking foreigners. For 3 years, I was on the run. I translated for men in gray suits. In Siberia, in Kazakhstan, in Moscow, anywhere but home. I translated for drunken prime ministers, Brits with roses in buttonholes vomiting in the snow, Americans in Levi's. I translated in street bars, private palaces, helicopters and saunas, golden teeth, Adidas tracksuits, steely eyes. I sent money back home. My father died. My daughter learned to speak without me. She still calls me by my first name. And then, on a chilly spring day in Moscow, I translated for Boris and Mr. Petsa. Boris owned a seaport, a railway, and aluminum plant. He wore a gray suit. Mr. Petsa was Swiss. From the International Monetary Fund, big shot. The Kempinski restaurant sparkled. Black caviar glistened, silver plates, silver coke, fountains, orchids. Spring in Moscow is cold, said Mr. Petzer, his face narrow and sad. Very cold, answered Boris. Tell him this. He gives me the right to distribute the funds. The whole territory, former Soviet Union. I give him a job, fake job, $70,000 a year, salary. For 5 years he won't have to do a thing. Translate? I translated. Mr. Petzer looked into his glass of water. He winced. I expected him to throw water into Boris' face. Big shot, right? Mr. Petzer chewed his lips. $95,000 a year, he said. I have 2 daughters in college. Good, said Boris. He raised his short glass to children. Children are our future, flowers of life. Let's take more. Let's talk more. Tomorrow. There was no tomorrow. Mr. Petzer walked to the door. I am having a flashback. The rat on the doorknob, teeth bad and silent laughter. Please, let me quit, I asked Boris. I'm a single mother. He looked at the Moscow River, at the floating ice, at the duck bones on his plate. How old is your daughter, he asked. 4. Children are flowers of life, he said. Quit. Your decision. A man in an Adidas suit stepped from behind a column. I looked at him, at his gun, at the blue eyes, at the black caviar. I knew it was time to run again. I never spoke about it until now to anyone. I'm an American for the last 15 years, but I'm still afraid. You know what happened to Mr. Petzer? He transferred millions of dollars or euros to Boris. Then he eloped with a young Russian translator leaving behind Frau Petzer and 2 college students in Switzerland. The translator's husband hacked into her email and sold the story to the press. There were a couple of articles in London Times, and then no one ever heard about Mr. Petzer again. Sometimes I think about Mr. Petzer. In my mind, I see him walking away, like a crane, down the tropical beach, an ultimate immigrant. For all are nothing but immigrants in this world. Sometimes I see rats in my nightmares. Rats laugh. Boris still owns the seaport, the aluminum plants, some other plants. He's now in politics. Big shot. Works for Putin. I can never go back. My country is still run by rats. Men with steely, deeply set eyes, gray suits. The crowds march, we are guided like sheep. They follow the rules. Freedom is scary for them. Well, what? Freedom is scary. No parents to order you around, no presidents to march you around, no priest to tell you what is good and what is bad. Oh, I know that freedom is the major illusion, but I still want it. I might be scared, but I refuse to follow their rules. Fuck their rules, I say. Fuck their